Hi, Lisa.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good morning, good afternoon. Where are you located? What's your time zone?
So I'm in the Pacific time zone. I'm in Laguna Beach, California.
Really? I'm in Woodland Hills, California,
Oh
Los
my God,
Angeles,
right
California.
down the street.
Yeah, so we're down the block. So I can't say good afternoon. You know, I say good morning to everybody. Everybody panics. They're like, why is he saying good morning when it's like 9 p.m. in London? I'm like, I
Oh,
don't know if it's
that's so
London
funny.
time or
I
not.
just moved from New York about a year ago, so I'm settled in here now. So definitely Pacific time
Awesome.
zone.
Awesome. I was looking at your page and it looks like you have a lot of experience with IG Live and a lot of different things. So let's dive into it.
Okay,
At what age
let's
or
go.
Yeah, so at what age or what time did you get introduced to Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich, and how that has impacted you so far?
Okay, so I would say a little bit before I got introduced to Think and Grow Rich, I was always in this kind of mindset of trying to figure out my spirituality. And I always felt like I had a higher power to like control what I wanted in my life. That I didn't have to always take the same path as others and be more of a leader. So I was a model and I went to South Africa in 2003. And I was going around like between my castings, like running around looking at their like their flea markets and stuff. And there were all these like older books, and I picked up the book Conversation with God, and I really got into like the spirituality of that book. And then that kind of turned me into like the next day I went back and I picked up Think and Grow Rich, and I was just like
Wow.
enamored with the title because I didn't really get like the Think and Grow Rich part of it. It wasn't like I was thinking of growing rich or becoming a millionaire. I just kind of like I was drawn to it. And then after I got the book, I couldn't put the book down. It was the only book that I've ever read up until that time. Because before that, I read a lot of fiction. I never read a lot of self-help or nonfiction. And I couldn't put the book down. Everything, every single part of it resonated with me. And I didn't really quite understand it at first because it takes you a while. Anybody who's read the book, it takes you a lot, many years and stuff to really, really understand it. So this is 15 years ago. So I started
Wow.
to take like the principles of the book and start to have action on them and do them. And I would see quickly manifest what my desires and what I wanted would manifest pretty quickly. And I just kept that kind of in my, I just kept using the principles, and then year after year I would read it and stuff. And then in 2010, I had a big life-changing moment where I was going through a divorce, and I had found out I was pregnant during the separation, and I was alone with two young children, and then I was pregnant. So I was like, what am I going to do? Because I had moved back to
Wow.
New York. I hadn't been modeling, and I was going back to become a Ford model again and start my career over. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I didn't even know what to do. So many people said to me, friends and family, will just go home or go back to school. And I just like, that's not right for me. And I pulled out the book and I went over it again. I wrote down, well, we can get into all that, but I started to, write down like the book teaches you to do so. And then I was able to manifest something even bigger out of that. And so it really, really helped me. And during that time in 2010, where I just was at rock bottom and I really needed it.
Wow, that's a powerful story. I know I just had my first baby, and and there was two of us, me and my wife, and that was a lot of work. So I
Oh,
can't imagine you doing it alone. That you should write a book on that. A lot of people need help when they go through that. It's
yeah.
not an easy process. But I believe when you have children, I don't know, supernaturally you get this power
Of
where,
course.
I was telling my crew, my partners over here, I slept around like 1 a.m. and I was up by 6, where if I didn't have my baby, I would have probably been more tired. But now I'm like, diapers and baby food and all these things cost money.
Yeah, you
Vahid needs
have
to go to work.
a bigger world now. You have a bigger why of why you want to get things done. You just have to make it
Definitely.
happen. You're the person they look up to. So it's like if you're not doing it, you can't create the life that you want for your children. It relies on you. And during the time, it
Definitely.
relied on me. And I'm like, how am I going to give my kids this fabulous life that I already know? Unless I step up. So yeah.
That's so true. I agree. I agree with that. But I got to give a lot of credit to my wife. She's doing more of the work that I'm doing. So definitely, she's a tough cookie. She does. She's an attorney by profession, but she's really tough. She could take care of a lot of stuff that I can't. Physically, I can't take care of. But
Of course.
she's one of those
Yeah,
tough ones. This will be my first and last marriage. This is
Love to hear that.
So let me ask you a question. What would you say as a model or somebody in the entertainment industry or dealing with the and modeling is not a fun thing. It's a lot of stress. I've had a lot of people that have told me that, you know, don't look at the picture. You see a couple of pictures, they all look pretty, this, that. There's a lot of things that goes behind the scenes that as audiences we don't get to see. So what were the two secrets that you say were part of your success so far?
Well, definitely for me and also for the talent that I represent, and when I meet new talent, it has to be the burning desire. So chapter 1 starts off with burning desire. That's the secret ingredient to your life, right? That's your foundation. The burning desire means that you have to know who you are. You have to know what your definite plan is, your definite purpose in your life is. Figure that out first before you can even move on to the rest of the book, right? Before you can manifest anything in your life, you need to know what is the most important thing for you, particularly. This is your idea of success. What is your burning desire? So it has to be almost an obsession, something that you just have to have happen. So for me, at 16 years old, I wanted to be a model, but I wanted to be in the modeling business. Exactly what I'm doing today is what I wanted to do when I was 16 years old. It was becoming a model, a scout, a manager, and just being in this business that I love and adore, right? So the burning desire teaches you have to write out a statement. So you have to sit there and take your statement, your burning desire, and write it down. Be very specific on what it is that you want in your life. You have to tell yourself over and over and over again in your mind, you know, over and over again, tell yourself what is the desire in your life. Like write it down 10 times a day. Think about it 10 times a day. Think about it in the morning when you wake up. Think about what that is and what it looks like, exactly what you want. And then you have to be specific on how much money you want to make too. So whether it's a job or you want to start your business, you want to make a certain amount of money that year, or you create a course, or you have a product or whatever it is, and you want to make 60,000 by February, or I want to have a job that pays me 200 grand a year. Write it down, be specific on it. A clear description and a clear description on how you're going to give back, because you're never going to be able to make that money and be successful unless you're giving back. So you have to be able to write down your clear description, know exactly what you want, the time frame on it, right? How much you're going to make and what you're going to do to give back for it. So for me during that time, I created a blog and I was giving advice to the modeling community and just being like a mentor and a guide for people. And I put out there, this is fast forward to 2010, like I put out there that, you know, I'm by myself. I wanted to be able to have a job that traveled and that I was a scout. And literally, as I wrote everything down, by the time frame that I wrote it down and the amount of money that was given to me, and after giving back, I got exactly what I wanted. This stuff happens so quickly that when you are so precise on it, it happens very, very quickly. So I'm speaking on a level from this book of experience, something that has really happened to me. Not just reading the book and I take it and I use some of the concept. No, I use every single one of them, even chapter 13, which most people don't get.
Definitely.
But
you brought up a good point.
From in immediate action, I started giving back, and I memorized that statement, and I made sure that I was committing to it every single day. So that was the first one. The second one that I would say, my favorite chapter was chapter 13 on sexual transmutation, but I'm not going to get into that right now. The second one, is the principles of faith. I have a book
that is not published that often, and you might have a hard time finding it.
Right.
That goes, I don't know if you know the story, but Napoleon Hill's third wife actually helped him write the book, Think and Grow Rich. Mm-hmm. She owned the rights to the book.
Right.
And when they got divorced, she sold the rights to the attorney, to the divorce attorney. But Clement Stone went back to Napoleon Hill. I won't get into the story. It's history. It's just part of, if you want to know all these trivia, materials. But that's not going to get you. Yeah, that's not going to get you success. But that chapter and that part of the book, it's really emphasized in that whole entire book. Just like the book 3 Feet from Gold. Exactly. Talks about that in depth, how to attract. I'll send you the link. I'll DM it to you. Not everybody's going to understand it. And it's such a controversial subject that every time I bring it up, it's just everybody's so interested on the physical sex part. And they completely forget about the energy and everything else. So it's one of those things that we'll talk about it. But go ahead. You were saying number 2. It was funny that you said that.
Yeah, no. Chapter 13 for me was the pivotal point of my success. When I mastered chapter 13, we can talk about it at a later point. When I mastered that, it wasn't until I became successful. And people that I know who are super successful men that I've been around didn't become multimillionaires, even billionaires, without mastering chapter 13. But to get there, the principles of faith, and the principles of faith is the second one. Unshakable belief that it's going to happen. So it's not faith in the same realm of religious faith, although of course that's very powerful too, praying faith. This is more of a primal emotion, the auto-suggestion, the deep acceptance that this will happen, this goal will happen. It's a reality, and it's happening right now. So you're creating your life as if you're living it right now. So I had my goals that I know I wanted to create within 2 years. It was going to be done no matter what. I had faith it was going to be done, but I already started living like it was already there, right? So that was super powerful to be like, okay, I'm already that successful manager and that scout that everybody wants to talk to and that everybody wants to emulate and they come to for advice. I was already there before I was already there, right? Yeah, so love what you're doing, enjoy it, give back, and feeling good about it. The faith part is feeling good about that it's happening, it's already there. Yeah, and part of that is like having self-confidence, having the ability to achieve your definite purpose and demanding that it's going to happen. You have to demand that it is going to happen no matter what. Remember, I had so many naysayers and so many people in 2010 telling me, you're never going to make it. You have how many kids? And what are you doing? Starting a business? Go home to mom, you know, pack up. And it's like, oh no, please. I already knew in my mind, no, I've got this. This is going to happen. Maybe because 2003, I already did this already, you know, without kids. I wouldn't say it's easier or not. It was just the faith that it was going to happen, right? So any desire that you have to consistently, persistently hold that in your mind. It will happen. Remember that 10 times a day, develop that self-confidence, meaning it's the faith that it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen, and you will attain it. So those were the 2 things for me.
I definitely appreciate you sharing that. Now, let me ask you a question. At what age will you have your children start reading Napoleon Hill?
27.
You were 27 or your kids?
No, my kids are only 7 to 11. But no, I was 27.
So at what age will you have them? At what age will you have them read the book?
Oh, well, gosh. We drove from New York to LA, right? This last December. And I mean, they already hear the book all the time. I listen to it when I don't listen to music. When I have my earphones in, I'm listening to these types of books that just really fuel me to achieve what I want to achieve in my life. They're so used to it. So they've heard the book. You know, it's not that they listen to it. They pick up on little things and they ask questions. They see me reading the book at night, or writing things. I'll probably have them read it around 14 or 15. Yeah. Sit down.
Cool. No, I was talking to my wife and I was asking her, like, you know, what age do you think is good? I think the minute they can start reading, they should, because then that's going to create questions for them. If naturally they're asking questions about it, that means they're interested without me forcing them. So I think at a younger age, they will be more curious to ask questions, especially about the vocabulary that's used in the book. Some of the vocabulary we don't use these days on our normal conversations that we have with people, but when they see it, I think it also helps their SAT scores too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I use that kind of that lingo with them too. Like I have a son, he's 10, he wants to be an NBA player, but it's like, what is your desire in life? It's like, I want to be an NBA player. It's like, what action are you taking towards getting there every day? You know, you have to practice every day. You know, you have to be in club basketball. You have to do these things. And it's like, are you thinking about it? And I sit down and I tell him, you know, at nighttime, when you close your eyes, are you imagining yourself doing a layup? Are you imagining yourself at the game, like scoring all the points? Like, are you imagining? Make sure that you're consistent. I mean, studies have been done that you can become a basketball player almost the same amount imagining in your mind, the same way as practicing it. It's incredible. So I tell them that kind of stuff too. So it's sinking in.
I really appreciate you taking the time, Lisa. This conversation is not over. You and I are going to go back and forth more. Now that I got you in my DM, we're going to talk about it. We do have a mastermind group happening. I will have Q or Hana reach out to you. We have a Christmas/holiday party for our office, but it's more of a Think and Grow Rich. Pretty much everybody that's coming there is either a coach or someone who's training Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill, or has done it for 20, 30 years. So we're gonna send you the info on that. If possibly you can check your schedule. Since you're local, you'll be able to take advantage of that, and definitely we'll get to meet face to face and share some of that. We do have a mastermind group that's almost ready to go. We're about to launch it. We'll send you the info on that, and hopefully we get to do this video a little bit more, and we can go into in depth of chapter 13, because I think men need chapter 13 way more than females. And if they master that, it would
especially today with Instagram and distractions and all that stuff, they need to know how to channel that energy. Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I would love to come to that mastermind. Please keep me in mind. I love masterminds. That is also the key to success.